It's really easy to characterise Barnet as being the classic sleepy London suburb. Residents know that's never been the case.
Most councils, they don't set out to be deliberately evil and nasty to people per se. In that sense, it's always about policies and the impact that it has upon people generally, and how it would hit some people a bit more than others.
We also have a big economy in people commuting into town, into the centre of London, and coming back with hopefully with very big pay packets and spending them in the local shops here.
A local business meeting last week, beginning of January 2012. Mr. Nick Walkley, Finance Minister for Barnet, was, his words, not mine, was pissed off the way, the rough treatment he got at the business meeting. Mr. Walkley, we are seriously pissed off at our treatment from Barnet Council. You're killing us, you're not listening, and you're insulting our intelligence, telling us you're here to help us.
A common theme of mine is we can't be complacent and we need to up the pace, and I get quite irritated when that doesn't happen.
We're Barnet residents, and we're unhappy, totally, absolutely unhappy with the conduct of London Borough of Barnet with regard to the treatment of people with learning difficulties and disabled people in general around the borough. These changes are quite dramatic. I mean, they've closed down a purpose-built day centre for this special group. You know, I mean, there is no curriculum, there is no organisation. They're dumped out into church halls on some days rather than a purpose-built day centre, and this is under the guise of a policy that they call more choice, and it actually offers less choice.
My contribution is to ensure that users have a greater say in particular services, so we've done a lot of work getting users involved in new organisations where there are specific needs to be met there. Happen to think that there'll be better decisions and better tailored services.
It comes down at the end of the day to poor services to vulnerable people.
Barnet Council has responded to the current economic crisis by launching the One Barnet programme.
That's the programme that's going to ruin our lives as residents in Barnet, because it's a programme of privatisation of basically all the services.
Unfortunately, most people in the borough don't understand it. They don't understand that in a year or so's time, when their elderly parent needs a home or their child has problems and they need support from the local authority, it's actually going to be provided by a private company, and there'll be very little choice if things go wrong.
Basically what is happening in Barnet is rapidly moving through mass outsourcing to a position where it becomes a commissioning council, where there will be the vast bulk of the staff will be outsourced primarily to large national or transnational companies, and there'll be a small core staff left, the client side if you like, and all the rest will be on the contract side.
Staff are my second priority. My first priority is actually towards delivering improved services. So it means sometimes giving some tough messages that they might have a different employer, that we might be cutting budgets, and therefore getting the balance right between being supportive while simultaneously having to give those really tough messages. It is the job.
In Barnet, we've seen sell-offs before. Westminster Council sold Mill Hill Cemetery for 5p in the 1980s. They spent hundreds of thousands of pounds buying it back after local uproar. Now Barnet Council are trying it again.
The first batch of privatisation of social services was with elderly care homes.
I mean, we may be a very conservative council, but we're very concerned to protect the old people and children, and everything we do at the moment budgetarily is directed to doing just that.
They outsourced it to a company called Fremantle. Anyway, earlier this year they discovered Legionella bacteria in the water resources of some of these homes. Homes for very frail old people. And then started a whole debate, whose responsibility is it? Is it the council who has the... Eventually, we try to argue, ultimately it's the council's responsibility because they are the ones who have the duty of care towards these people who they placed in these homes.
Because Barnet has been outsourcing on a relatively smaller scale, small size contracts for a number of years. In the vast majority of cases, there's been some major crises in those contracts. Contracts have been terminated, and the level of contract monitoring, the level of internal audit investigation of those contracts has been shown to be very poor. And the point I would make is that a local authority that's got such a poor track record in monitoring and auditing contracts which are £2-3 million, and now it's moving into contracts which are 50 times that size. That raises really fundamental problems about their ability to do that.
Do you realise they're privatising the council? BT is taking the whole council over. And the head of that department is called Max Wide, and he was seconded to Barnet Council for a year. Is Mr. Wide here representing BT or the residents of Barnet? And the official reply I got was, Mr. Wide represents the council.
That's not to say that it's all doom and gloom, and that with that scarcity there's the opportunity for quite a lot of innovation and challenge about the way we do things.
You know, that's life as it is at the moment for us. It's gloomy. It's absolutely bloody gloomy.